To make this very clear, I do not recommend to use HDR in Silent Hill F, and it's not because of the fact that this game hits just 1000 nits in specular highlights, and it's also not because of the fact that this game most of the time has HDR black level raise. It is because as soon you turn on HDR, the game looks complete different compared to SDR. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. As always, before we start, please do me a very quick favor and like, share and subscribe. And now let's take a closer look on this recording here. This is recorded off my LG G4. This is SDR with the standard factory settings on my TV. And when I'm playing games on my TV, I'm always using the game optimizer mode. The only thing what I'm changing is the color tone. I'm using warm 50 to be closer to the D65 norm. In regards to the other picture settings in the SDR game optimizer mode, I'm using brightness set to 100, contrast set to 85, gamma is set to 2.4 and color is set to 55. Again, I'm using warm 50. This is the picture what I get on my LG G4, and if we now comparing this with HDR and HGHG enabled, there is a very big difference. And just to make this clear again, I'm using the standard factory setting in the HDR gaming optimizer mode. That means the only thing what I have changed is the color from 0 to warm 50 to be closer to the D65 norm. But in regards to the color setting, it's still 55 as factory. The brightness and contrast is set to 100 for the HDR picture mode. And this is the picture what I get on my LG G4. And comparing this with the SDR picture, again, there's a day and night difference. And don't get me wrong, there should be a day and night difference when you compare HDR and SDR on an OLED TV like the LG G4. But it should be in favor for the HDR presentation and not like in this case in favor for the SDR presentation. I mean, just take a look on the colors. What we have in SDR compared to HDR. The HDR colors are looking completely off, completely faded. Something is just not right. But it's not just about colors. It's also that the average picture brightness with HDR and HGHG enabled is just too low. It doesn't look right to my eyes. With dynamic tone mapping on enabled, the picture is much brighter. But as always, we're talking now about a lot of clipping in so-called specular highlights. So the picture now doesn't look correct to my eyes as well because it's sometimes just too bright and it doesn't change the fact that we have faded or washed out colors. So again, not a single reason right now to play this game in HDR. Okay, my friends, so I don't know what to say. I don't know how to defend this HDR implementation, and actually there is no reason to do it because it's really just bad. So I tested the whole game on my PlayStation 5 Pro, and I will do probably, hopefully on the weekend, a video about the PSSR implementation because this is really a joke in my opinion. Not because we have all this flickering when you play with the Pro enhancement. The problem is that you can't turn it off. If you just have a PlayStation 5 Pro, I can't use a different picture mode. There is no normal picture mode, okay? So I can't disable PSSR, and it's really disturbing, at least for me, because as soon as you have fog, as soon as you have foliage or whatever, you have always this flickering, this shimmering and or bumping of the picture. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just odd. It's just awful, okay? So I don't know what's going on because we're talking about Konami here. We're talking about a AAA game or supposed to be AAA game, and we have such a bad HDR implementation and we have such a terrible PlayStation 5 Pro support. I don't know what's going on. Why are companies not having a proper quality control? Thank you very much for watching me and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.